Hey Stampers, Diane Dimich here with DDStamps.com, and I am looking forward to sharing with you tonight some of the things that I have to offer. I am going to just kind of chat a little bit at the beginning so that people can come in because you never get it right on time, and it won't take long. But um, we had a beautiful day today. The last couple days in Red Lodge have been in the high 40s, but it sounds like winter's coming again. Anyway, if you're out there, let me know. I got to pull up the comment screen because I can't see it. So if you're out there, I know somebody is because they gave me a thumbs up. But if you're out there, let me know. I am hopefully live on YouTube, my Facebook, and my website. And for those of you who join me on my website, I can't see the comments on my website until after this is over. I'll answer them. I'll go back and check them. But just so you're aware, so if you ask a question on my website and I'm not answering, that is why. I should be able to see any comments made on, hey, Carol, I should be able to see any comments made on YouTube and on Facebook, hopefully, if everything connected correctly. To me, it looks like it did. So let's hope it did. So this past weekend, I had some friends of mine, some demonstrators and other crafters. Oh, good. I am on Facebook. Cool. Came to Red Lodge for a retreat. They rented an overnight rental and we stamped all weekend. And I've got some great projects to show that some of those gals made and I made. We kind of get together and we all make cards, and then we make cards for each other so that we have different ideas. So I've got that to share. If anybody has any questions, feel free to comment and let me know, and I will try to answer them. And if I can't, I can always save it for, like, I can find the answer and give it to you next week. I will say that tonight's I'm showing the fault line card, which is kind of a new trend right now. And I hadn't made one, so I sat down yesterday and made one, and it turned out really cute. Hey, Vicki, how are you? Glad you could make it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera so we can get started. I'm just going to talk a little bit. As we all know, it's celebration right now, so if you place a $60 order, you get to choose something out of the front of this little brochure. And if you purchase 120, you can move up and purchase a bundle or get a bundle for free, or this stamp set. And I have a couple cards I want to show you because I just think that this bundle is so cute. And these cards that were made this weekend, I think they were made by Alicia and Becky, but look at this one. It's boho blue and crumb cake. I just think it's beautiful. I don't know, it's so pretty. I love it. And then this one I absolutely love, and this is made with the birthday paper. Is it wildflower? No, I don't know. Let me check. I was making cards with it earlier. It is called, Wildflower Birthday. This is the backside of that paper. The paper has foil in it, but I just think this is so pretty. Those are two beautiful cards with that bundle. I love them. And then this one, I believe, is a set that you can get. This corner stamp here, so pretty. And she put this one with some of the paper from Celebration and then the butterflies. Yeah, this one here. I have this stamp set. I have not played with it yet, but hopefully one of these days. And then the last one from Celebration that I got was this one, which is paper, the fruit paper here. And I just thought that was really cute. This was a great little card, and this would be great. You could make all kinds of cards with that, but I did love this one that Sheila made, so that was fun. All right, so celebrations going on. We have the Holiday Mini, which I tonight am using the what am I using? I'm losing my mind here. Delightful Wishes stamp set bundle, and that's also happens to be my tutorial for this month. So my tutorial for this month is this one here. And I did some of these cards last week, so you can go back in my YouTube channel or on my website or Facebook and find that actual tutorial. But How this works is I do a tutorial up each month. Anybody that places an order gets the PDF from me on the measurements and the products and step-by-step instructions on how to make these cards. If your order is over $50, then you will get a packet in. If your order in January is over $50, you get a packet in February with the supplies to make these cards. So this was really fun. I love this paper. Like I said, I'm using it again tonight because I really like it. But these are the cards. This one's kind of a little bit more involved, but I still loved making it. It wasn't difficult, but I used the dies just to make some flowers, and then I also stamped some flowers. So we're going to do that tonight too. And then I have a couple of other cards that I made. So this is one that I made this weekend for everybody. It was really a lot of fun. And I stamped the flowers with Daffodil Delight on the lemon lolly paper. And I really like that shadowing on those die cuts. And then the wish I just did with Pool Party. But, you know, strips of paper, you can see that there. So I don't know, they're like 2, 1.5, 1.5. So you could use lots of scraps up to make cards like this. And of course, then I had to put some bumblebees on there and some ribbon because the bumblebees are really cute. And then this was one of my favorite cards this weekend. This was made by Alicia. And if I'll put it up here. But you can see her fence post. She put it through the die that looks like bark. But I love this card. I don't know. I just loved it. I love yellow anyway, and I love flowers, obviously. But yeah, so that was a really fun card. Pretty easy to make. In fact, I might even be able to do that one of these days. All right. So the fault line card. This is another one that Alicia made this weekend with the fault line, and that's kind of what gave me the idea for tonight because it's really super easy and it's fun. And what I said in my email to people was, you know, hey Linda, bring a sheet of cardstock and some designer series paper, and we will walk through this one together. And then I have this little box that I'm going to make afterwards that you can also make too. And both of these projects just use, I think, 1 sheet of cardstock. So if you haven't already, run and get a sheet of cardstock. All right, so I've got Daffodil Delight. Tonight I'm going to use the floral paper. I'm going to use this piece tonight. And I don't need it that big, but that's what I had sitting here. And just so you're aware, I did put out a PDF with the measurements. It's on my website. You can click, and I'll put the link down in the descriptions of the YouTube. Just so if you want to print that out, you'd have the exact measurements. None of this is hard. So if we're ready, let's do this. Thank you for the compliments on the cards, ladies. I appreciate that. All right, so our first step is we're going to take a piece of cardstock, and this is just 8.5 by 11, and we're going to cut it in half the long way. So we're going to go at 4 1/4. Using my cutting blade, I'm going to go ahead and cut that. This is the piece I'm going to use to make my box. This is the piece I'm going to use to make the card, the no fault or the fault line card. So then you're going to turn your cardstock and you're going to cut it off at 9 1/2. Doesn't have to be precise. And then you're going to put your cardstock back in, and at 5 1/2, you're going to score it. And this becomes your card base. So that's the beginning of your card base. And you do need that to do the next step. So then I'm going to take my designer series paper, and I'm going to start by cutting it 4 inches by 4 1/4. I need one of those. And then I need one that is 3 inches by 4 1/4. All right. So those are the pieces that I need for the no fault card. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to set this one aside for now, the bigger rectangle because it's not square. And you're going to take this piece and you're going to lay it on here. So I went upside down with it. And I'm just laying it on top of this piece here. And I don't want to adhere it because I want it to, because it's not going to get adhered there anyway in the end. This is just to assist me while I tear it, to make sure that my fault line, the papers follow the same line. All right, so if it slides, it's fine. Don't worry about it, okay? So once you've got that up there, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to tear this. And it doesn't have to be, they don't have to be torn exactly together. But you're going to tear it towards you at an angle. So you end up with pieces that look like that. Now on my card, I liked the texture. I don't know, can you see? Yeah, you can see the texture. So I textured the card base. I textured this piece and this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put it into somewhere, here it is. Put it into this. This is the, I think it's called textured tile. But I love this embossing folder. It happens to be my favorite one. I'm going to go ahead, and I know this is kind of odd, but because I'm doing the front of my card, I have to put it through the machine like this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Over here where my cut and emboss machine is. And I could have done that other piece at the same time. I probably should have, just to save time, but I will go ahead and do it again. So this piece, it's going to come out, and there's your texture. And so I just really like the texture. Then I'm going to slide this piece in and texture that. Like I said, the texture isn't necessary, but I just really don't like a bunch of blank spots. So there's my texture on that one. Set that aside for now. All right, so then what you're going to do is you're going to take these pieces that you tore, and this one is going to go here. And this one is going to get adhered to this piece. And while you're doing that, at this point, you could actually go ahead if you wanted to and kind of distress this tear. Sometimes people use scissors to kind of curl the cardstock, distress it a little bit more. It's easy to distress because it's gone through that embossing folder. So you can see it's kind of torn, but that's all right because that's the look you're looking for. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece and we're going to add adhesive. Ooh, brand new bottle. It's a little, let me move this out of the way here. Yeah, it kind of came out real quickly. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my edges. Like that, so that it's squared up so you don't see anything hanging over. And if you do, I'm going to get rid of this before I end up having that on my card. Let me grab a paper towel here. It's one of the things about the multi-purpose glue that it makes everything sticky if you get it on stuff. All right, so that is attached. And then again, I can go ahead and distress this edge if I want to. I can use my scissors. This one's a little bit more difficult to distress because it did not go through the embossing folder. And to be honest with you, I could have glued that on first and then put it through the embossing folder if I wanted to. Okay, so once I've got that, then I'm going to go ahead and glue this one onto this piece. I told you this technique is a lot easier than it looks. Once I've got that glued on there, oh, I probably should have distressed this a little bit here. I'll just do it now. And I'm just kind of rolling that back. You don't have to, but I like a lot of texture in some of my cards. And then again, I'm going to go ahead and push that back with a scissor and then roll it a little bit. All right, so there is my other piece. Now, what you're going to do now is this piece is going to get glued to the back of the front of the card. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it on here. And you just want to make sure that you're going 4 1/4 across. Don't do it this way, or you'll have a border and it won't look good. And this does not have to be like, there's no exact place to put it. You can just put it on there and then get the glue off, and then don't do that. Don't put glue on that side. I do have a adhesive remover. I guess my glue's a little gluey tonight. All right, so there's the first part of the card. And then this piece, you get to decide where you want to glue that. You can glue it. I want this flower to show because I love it. So I'm going to make my felt pretty big. And I'm going to take this piece and I'm actually going to glue it to this piece, but down farther. Yeah, I think I like that. So I'll just put a little glue on this side so I don't get carried away. It just opened up that bottle of green glue just before I went live, and like that. There's your fault line. All right, so the next thing you have to do is you might want to wait for it to dry a little bit. Make sure it's straight. Nice thing about the adhesive is that you can manipulate a little bit before it actually dries. You're going to flip your card over, and then you can see, oh, see, it's a little bit longer on this side. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I've got it a little bit crooked. But that's okay, because it's very fixable. So I'm going to go ahead and put my card into my cutter and trim up that edge. A little thick up here so that it's straight. And then on this piece, we're going to go ahead and flip it over. And I'm going to line up the back of the card along my cutter here and then cut it. And then your card is the right size. I just love this technique. I love how it looks. I think it looks like you really put a lot of work and difficulty into it, and you have it. Okay, once I've done that, then I'm going to come in, and actually you probably do need, you need a little piece of cardstock. And so what I'm going to do, this is 4 1/4, but I want it to be 5 3/8. So I'm going to go right to the 5 3/8 mark. I think it already was, but, and the reason that I go 5 3/8 instead of 5 1/2 is because when I glue this on the back of this, I want it to be just below the score line. So it doesn't get all bulked up here, so that it will actually close. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to take that piece, and this is just going to cover up the inside of the card and make it look beautiful. Adds a little bit of bulk, but that's okay. Put it on there, and then remember, see, that's the nice thing about green glue is it moves, and the bad thing about green glue is that it moves. All right, so once I've got that on there, you know that this is a little bit wider because I did trim that off before I put this backing on, so I could have waited. But I'm going to go ahead, once again, I'm going to line this up into my cutter and just trim off that edge. And there is your card base. Super easy, looks great. On this one, I put, of course, I layered a piece of basic white on the inside and stamped it. All right, so now to do this embellishment, I'm going to bring in a couple of pieces of cardstock, and I think I'll start by using, these are the Greetings of the Season dies. So these were in the Christmas mini catalog. No, they were not. They're an online exclusive. So, but these are like my favorite labels right now. I use them for everything. Tags. So they are tags because they do have, they cut the little hole out, but that's how I did the top of that. But you can also cover it up and not have it be a tag. But I love these. I love every one of them. Just a lot of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one, and I'm going to go trim it out with my Stamp and Emboss machine. So for those of you who don't know, the online exclusives are items that Stampin' Up! Has in the online store, and they're never going to be in a publication. They're always going to be in the online store, and they come out, I think it's like every 2 months with different ones. These were part of a Christmas bundle, and it's all still available. Oh, this one is another one of the labels. They have those dots too, which I love. It's part of a Christmas bundle, but you don't really have to have the bundle. I mean, I probably have used these tags more than I've used the actual Christmas stamps. So, okay, once I have that there, I'm going to stamp this tag. And we're going to start with the flowers. And what I've learned is I like to stamp. So this is a 2-step set. So it takes 2 stamps to make the complete image. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the outline first, because it's just how I've found. I think my Daffodil Delight, I've used it so much this weekend. Almost everything I stamped used Daffodil Delight, that I need to re-ink it. But I found that using the lined part of the 2-step stamp instead of the solid stamp, stamping this one first, is, I have to decide how I want this. I'll go this way. It's easier to line up the second stamp if you have the lined images. All right, so the solid stamp, I'll pull that one out, put it on my block here. I don't know if you can probably see that. I'm going to go ahead and ink this also up in Daffodil Delight. And again, you could use 2 colors, but why when you have 1 ink pad? I'm going to stamp it off, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line these up. And that's, I have to move this down so I can actually see it without putting my head in the camera. But it's super easy to find out where you want to stamp that. And then you've got your flowers. And then I took the leaves on this and Old Olive. Old Olive is a real standby. I use it all the time. And then I'm going to go ahead and line these up. And stamp them down. And put some leaves on the flowers. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the wishing and put it on a long block. And grab a scrap. And using Old Olive, I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on my cardstock. And then I love this. So I love this die that just cuts out the wishing. But what's fun about this particular set of dies, which is the Delightful Wishes, so it has dies to cut all kinds of flowers. A branch, you can cut the solid flowers, but it also has a die to cut out wishing, and then a die to layer it with. So what that looks like is this on this card. So she's got Old Olive as the layer, as this one, and then wishing cut out with Lemon Lolly cardstock, and then you glue it on there. It's very cool. I think I did that. I might have done that last week. I think that's in one of my cards. Anyway, when I actually use this die or any of these dies that I'm using, I like to line them up. I don't know, I'm having a hard time tonight. And then I'm going to grab some Post-it tape, which I just bought at my local office supply place. And this is just Post-it tape, so it's just going to make that die not move. Because the last thing you want to do is have your die move and then it's not perfect. I don't like it. I mean, it's not perfect over here anyway. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this out with my cut and emboss machine. Hope it didn't move. But if it did, you know, your cards don't have to be perfect because you want people to know you made them. All right. I saved this tape because I can cut a lot of dies out using the same Post-it tape over and over and over. So I usually just try to put this, oh, except that one, it got tore, but like this one will go on the handle of my machine. And then when I go to and cut something out tomorrow, which I'm sure I will have the tape I can just keep reusing. I think I've had that particular tape for years, that roll of Post-it tape. And then, yeah, well, it's not perfect, but you get the idea. All right, so I'm going to close these up before I end. Oh no, I got to stamp the "You Well." So how I did this was I kind of decided where I wanted my wishing to go on my card. So let's pull my card in here. I don't really want it all to cover up everything, so I might go higher. And then I can just ink up "You Well." Ah! Oh well, don't do what I do. All right, so then what you're going to do is you're going to take this tape or this glue, and really you're just going to do a little bit on part of it. Because you only want to do the part that's actually going to be on the label. Like that. Okay, and then we're going to use some of this ribbon, which is the sheer ribbon with the silver. And I have to show you this cool technique, because I really love this ribbon. However, when I went and put my little bees on my card, the bees are gold. And then I was like, oh, I don't know if I want the silver ribbon with the gold bees. So if you take your ribbon and lay it out, and then use a blend or a marker, either will work, Sharpie, a marker, and I'm just going to go ahead and go right down that silver and make it yellow, which makes it look gold. And if you want to, you can actually color the whole ribbon. I'm not going to on this one because I kind of want the ribbon to stay a little white, but I am going to flip it over and do the other side because it'll probably show when I tie it onto my tag. So easy way to change your ribbon to what you actually want or need is to use your blends. Work great, but you can also use your markers. The nice thing about blends is it dries almost immediately. And then when I put it through the hole here, I don't know how much, oh, not too bad. I thought maybe I'd have ink all over my fingers. Then you can see where it's gold instead of silver. I hope you guys can see that. All right, and then I'm going to use some of this Baker's Twine in the 3-color pack. This is something that probably is in the online exclusives too now. It was part of a suite last year, so you might have it. Check your stuff. But white twine will work too. I just like the Lemon Lolly because it coordinated with the paper. Lemon Lolly was one of the colors. And I'm just going to go ahead and tie this on. I'm going to have to fix that "You Well" before the night is out, so I'll do that here shortly. If you muck up your stamping, I don't really want to do the tag all over, but I can fix it so that nobody will even really know that I mucked it up except for you guys that are watching. All right, so I'm just going to tie that little bow, straighten out my loops, trim it off, and then this piece I'm going to flip over and I'm going to use some dimensionals to put it on with. And so you don't need a ton because it already has a little bulk to it with the fault lines. So I'll do that. And then just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and just trim out a tiny, it's really tiny piece of dimensional. I'm going to put it on the end of this G. And that's going to hold it up because my tag is held up with dimensional, so it's, I'm going to get those little things all over. All right, so bring my card back, attach this on here where I want it. And then here, you'll just see where then the wishing, you know, it's flat here, but then it has a dimension here, just like the tag does. All right. So to fix the U well, let's grab a piece of cardstock. Go ahead and ink that up. Ugh. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. All right. And I could use my cutter and make this, you know, perfectly straight, but I don't need to because who's going to go up and look at that card that closely? I'll make it look like that's how I wanted it. And then I will add I could put it on with just glue, but I'm going to put it on with a dimensional. Then it really looks like I meant that to be that way. And cover that up. There's your card. Now, the last thing you need to do, these bumblebees are so stinking cute. So they come, I don't know how many are in here. 40. You can see I've had a heyday with them. And I'm just going to add a little bit of dot of glue. And really, it's just a dot. Now that I'm being so careful, I'm probably not going to get anything to come out of there. There we go. All right. So just a dot of glue. And then add my little bumblebees, which just brings this card up another notch. No fault line. Kind of fun. You could do a lot with it. I'm going to trim these up a little bit. So if you're making one tonight, I want you to put it together and then do some decoration or stamp it or whatever. Do something to it and then send me a picture. I'd love to see it. It'll be fun because everybody's paper will be different. So that's kind of cool. All right. There's the first card. Not bad. All right. So the next one is the little box, which is this one here. So I'm going to bring in my piece. First, I'm going to shut my ink pads because you know how I am. And then you're going to take your piece of cardstock that's, oh cool, Marielle, 4¼ by 11. And this time we're going to cut off 1 inch. All these little pieces of paper in here. Let me grab that out of there. There we go. Oh, didn't get it. Come on, there we go. All right, so now we're going to cut this one down to 3¼ And one of the things that you can do is, I used a piece of designer series paper for a belly band on this one, but you could actually use this piece of cardstock if you chose to. All right, so once you've got your cardstock cut, then we're going to go ahead and score. So on the short line, this line, the short line, we're going to score it at 2 3/4. And then you're going to flip it and do it at 2 3/4, or half an inch on each side. All right. Yeah. So 2 3/4. Score it. I have to keep checking to make sure I'm using my scoring blade. And then you're going to shoot to the long side. Open that up because you're going to need that measurement. And then on the long side, you're going to score it at 3 1/4 3 3/4, 7, and 7 1/2. And move that out of the way. All right, so here is your box. So we're going to go ahead and fold on all those score lines. This box goes together really fast. All right, so once you've done that, you've got all your score lines scored. One of the things that you want to check is fold up one of the edges and just make sure that it matches up as a box, because one side is longer than the other. For some reason, I think I did this wrong. That looks the same. All right, so as you can see it, this side is 1/4 of an inch shorter. So this box actually goes, this is the bottom. So let me open this up and show you. So it has a big flap on it. So this piece here, the box goes like this. Once you figured out which side is which, you are going to take this side and you're going to cut along that score line. And you can do this with a cutter or you can do it with scissors. It doesn't matter. And we're going to cut that off. We're going to do the same thing on this side. And you're going to cut that off. And then I like to trim them at an angle, just a sliver out, because it just helps with the bulk. You don't have a lot of bulk in your cards. And then this piece, you're going to cut at this score line and this score line. And again, I'm going to cut out on these little tabs. I'm just going to cut out a little wedge because it helps with the bulk. Cut out a wedge. And then, I know this is where I always get messed up. Okay. So on this one, you're going to go ahead and cut these there and there. And again, cut a little wedge. So your box, let me get all these scraps out of here. So that's what your box looks like. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to fold in these, and these edges are going to come up, and I want my seam to be on the back of my box. For some reason, I think I cut it wrong. No, I did. All right, so I want my seam where those pieces come together to actually be glued so that the back is where the glue is. Okay? So we'll put glue here and we'll put glue here. And then push all that in, push these tabs in, and bring your box up and around and square it up. I'm going to hold it back here because I got to hold it together so it's straight. Dang it. I have green glue all over my hands. Something's not right. think I might have scored it wrong. So I'm going to trim this off. Don't do what I do. I'll check my measurements afterwards. So anyway, these should be even, the front and the back. And then these, this comes over. So your little tabs tuck into your box. And then this comes down. So yeah, I think I used the short side. I think you're right. I think I used the short side instead of the long side. But you just saw how you could fix it if you do that. And it's not the end of the world. All right, so that was my box. And then I just had some scraps of designer series paper that I trimmed to fit in here. I'm going to give you the measurements. So they're like 3 by 2 1/4. So 3 by 2 1/4 went on that side. And then this was the belly band, which was just an 1-inch strip. I think this was 6 inches by 1. And I wrapped it around and I actually attached the belly band to the front so that then I could put that label on there and cover up the belly band. But you don't even need a belly band. I mean, you don't need that paper if you don't want it. I mean, look at this. And there's some chocolates out there that are like sticks. They're kind of like a Kit Kat, only well, they would probably work too. But a Kit Kat individually wrapped, and 3 of them fit in there. So on this particular label, I actually colored, let me find a piece of white paper. I colored that whole sparkly ribbon with that Daffodil Delight so that the edges were gold, but so was the inside. And it just changed the look of the ribbon. So yeah, you don't even need that paper. All right. Yes, that's what they're called, Jan. They're called Mercy Chocolate is what they're called. All right, so those are my projects for tonight. Like I said, I have a PDF on my website. You're free to go. The measurements are correct. Just make sure you're cutting or trimming the front of it the right one. So that's on my website. Now I do have some more stuff to show you. I have to show you some more of these cards that we made because they turned out so cute. So I'm going to go back to my camera, my desk. Look at this little dinosaur card. He's so stinking cute. This was one of those things I thought, no, I don't need that. But the cards that those ladies made this weekend with that plaid paper, I love the plaid paper. But I love these colors together. The crumb cake with those muted plaids and ginghams. So cute. Love that. This was one of the cards that somebody made. That's that goofy little dog that's in, I think he's in the catalog, in the mini catalog. Nice. This is a nice layout for any card with any designer series paper. Here's the one with the corners. I don't know if you've seen that with the die in the corner. I hadn't seen it in action till Rhea put this card together this weekend. Turned out cute. This is the one with the birthday, the wildflower birthday. I love this paper. This was a cute card with this ribbon. I hadn't used that before either, so that was kind of fun. And then I have this one, which, if you could see that, it's on a window sheet. So this is designer series paper attached to a window sheet and then cut out with a die. And it kind of, it makes it look like you really put a lot of effort into this. It's really very simple to do, but I love that card. And then a Valentine. We used a lot of crumb cake this weekend. So, all right, ladies, those are the cards for tonight. If you have any questions, let me know. If there's anything you want me to show, I just really loved that fault line card. Where is it? These two. I love how they turned out. Oh. So this is the one I did tonight. This one here, where I made that little adjustment. So creative adjustments, they're easy Yeah, and you always need them. Anyway, if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to let you go. And if you haven't already done so, you might want to sign up for my newsletter where I send out tips, tricks, and techniques each week and keep you up to date on what's going on, what kind of classes I'm teaching, and what I'm doing. So I do have a class. I just closed it out, registration for it, but oh, the cards are in the other room. But yeah, it's pretty cute. It's using that wildflower birthday and making cards with those. The wildflower birthday comes with a dies in the back of the paper. So you're welcome, Carol. Thanks for having fun tonight. Anyway, take care. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next Thursday. Right here. Bye-bye.